even compress these bad boys. Oh yeah.
What was that?
You gonna do anything today? Or are you just gonna sit around on your very expensive doggy daybed that I built? Hey? Spoilt. Spoilt. Righto, so today's exercises we're going to put in the Bush Company tent. I have the Bush Company brackets that mount the Sirocco fans. So we're going to lift the tent up and I've got the brackets. I just need to remember where I put the fans because it's like, oh, I'll put them here so I remember where they are. And now I don't know where they are, so I'm going to go and find the fans now. So
the following Thursday.
Okay, we found the fans. They're under all the stuff on the back of the Polaris there. So 2 Sirocco fans. We've got the Bush Company brackets. Again, this setup will only really work with a Bush Company tent. So this is my old sort of fan setup. So these used to just clamp onto the RHS that runs through the Bush Company tent, and then I had like little Velcro switches that would go onto the just on and off for each person, whoever's in the tent, so that we could have 2 fans, but each person could control whether their fan was on or off. These were cheap, they just run off a normal cigarette lighter, and I can't remember where I got these from actually. I think I bought them from America, from an auto parts store. They work, they did the job. They're just very noisy and loud, but they turned and like oscillated side to side and all the rest of it. So yeah, just time to upgrade. I just cannot justify how much these damn things are. Like this was like $400 for these 2. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, I finally bit the bullet, make a video out of it, install the new Bush Company brackets that are for the Sirocco fans. So I have 2 brackets here, so we're going to get these unwrapped now and yeah, see how all this goes together, I guess. Okay, so I guess that's the part number possibly for these Sirocco fans from the Bush Company, which is, I think it's 4RTASFB, but they're on the Bush Company's website. Again, you all know I'm a big fan of the Bush Company. Just, you've seen my videos on the tents, they're just awesome, and like, again, like how sick is that for a bracket? The Bush Company written in the bracket, just the fit and finish on that thing. It's written down, it's a laser, I think it's laser cut or down both sides. Just, Bush Company just do sick stuff. And the fit and finish is just better than any other thing, tent, product. The product that's manufactured, like it's just awesome. So good job, Dino. We've got pot rivets, so I guess we're going to pot rivet these things into the tent. We've got some Sirocco assembly, which is all the dimensions of our brackets in the book here. So yeah, it kind of shows you how to mount them and stuff like that, which is cool. So this tent was opened all weekend at the 4-wheel drive show in Sydney, and it still smells like a bushfire in here. I'm gonna have to wash all my blankets and sheets and stuff. So essentially, I do have a piece of RHS, give me a second. So I've just got a scrap piece of RHS here that I found in the shed. It's probably very similar size to what's in the tent, but essentially, so this will be the roof bar. If you're looking at it, if you're laying down from this position looking up, that will be how this mounts, and then your Sirocco fan basically you'll drill through these two holes here into your cross members and then pot rivet it in, and then your Sirocco fan will then slide in into the bracket like that. Once they're mounted, you can just slide the fan in. So that's how essentially they work. And this is how I mounted my other ones last time. So I used to just clamp my fans on like that, and then obviously you'd be laying down in this position back at the fans, and then the fans would oscillate. So I had both fans mounted on the bracket and on the RHS and the roof of the tent. So, but you could customize this thing to kind of work however you want. You could actually take it off the clamp and drill it and mount it in that. The biggest thing you got to be aware of is making sure you have enough room in your tent to leave the fans in there, because like they are pretty big and bulky, and by the time you bring, if this was the roof of your tent, you bring it down to try and close it, obviously you've got a giant fan there. So that's why I made mine. I bought the ones with the clamps so they were removable, and I've still got to figure out how I'm gonna wire these ones in, because they have two terminals on the back here, a positive and negative, to be able to power the fan. So I've got a wiring and nuts and bolts and stuff here in the packet. But I think what I'll do with these is maybe I'm going to get one mounted first, slide it in and see if the tent will close, because I can fold it back up against the roof of the tent. I just don't know if it's going to close with all the bedding and stuff in there, but we'll have a look. If it does, then I can just leave them permanently wired up. Okay, so we're in the best place you can be when you're at camp. So we've got the roof up in here in the Bush Company tent, so you've got these cross members. So essentially you've got your bracket here, and obviously you don't want the blank side to be like on this side, because then you can't slide your fan in, so you want the blank side on the outside. And essentially you just sit it up there like that. Obviously measure from the sides, get a good distance, kind of center to where the person would be, or where I'm going to lay in the tent anyway. Once these are actually in, they will sit up, they will slide in. Obviously I can't slide in because it's not pot riveted in yet, but they will slide in like that, and then I should be able to tilt them back, if you know what I mean, so that way I can shut the tent. So I think I might be able to leave these up there. So I'll actually hardwire these, I think. Good thing about the Bush Company tent is it has this little wire channel here on the inside too. So if you want to add any accessories in your tent, like I've got my phone charger, I've got a long phone charger permanently in here all the time, so it's always plugged in. So standard in the Bush Company tent, in the DX27, is you get one of these little power boxes. In the Alphas, you get one on each side. So you have two USB outlets here and a 12-volt SIG socket in this tent. From where the canvas finishes just here, I've come 250 off to the end of here, 250 millimeters, and then I've gone through and just marked my holes, hit them with a center punch, so they're up there now. All the pot rivets. So I'll go get my pot rivet gun as well. Try not to mess this up. You know, you don't want to go all the way through. You don't want to go all the way through, because if you go all the way through, you'll have like one of those wet fans if you do that. That's what I might do. I might actually pot rivet the first one in, and then that way I'm not kind of going off, because of the carpet it's kind of hard to be dead on center. I've center punched it, but I think what I'll do is I'll actually pot rivet the first one in, and then I'll go along and I'll drill the holes exactly where the bracket is. So I'll go down and get me a pot rivet gun and do that, and make sure I bring a vacuum up, otherwise all these aluminium shavings are going to be pricking me in the bum when I go to bed. Okay, don't do what I just did and drill holes onto your linen in your tent. I've just got a cover now. So, and I brought up the vacuum as well. In the roof like that. And bam. So I got both brackets up in the roof now, so just marked off the ends 250. I think I marked. You can put them wherever you want, but I come off the end here where the canvas stops at 250 to the end of this, and then just marked it all out, drilled the holes. I drilled one hole, pot riveted it first so that way none of the bracket could move. Did the other end. Basically, if I can do this one-handed, basically just slides into the bracket. Just slides into the bracket like so. Slides across. But what I want to do before I slide it in there, because these are pretty stiff to get this in, I might try and squish this rubber down a little bit more. But before I do that, I want to get the wires connected to the back of them so I can feed the wires back out at the same time that I put them in. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead now and do some wiring. Okay, so I couldn't help myself. I've wired them up and everything. Basically, I've slid both of the Siroccos into the brackets. I've just noticed something. It's not that big of an issue, but if I was to do it again, I'd probably spin it around. And it's the way I've got these mounted with both openings towards each other. I'd probably make it so the openings are on just the right side, and then you slide the fans in from the right to the left. And the only reason I say that is just because the way that these are all mounted, obviously you've got your latch here. I thought it might have been a bigger issue, but you can see where the latch just comes close to the outside of the bracket there. But it's not a big deal. But yeah, if I was to do it again, probably spin that bracket around the other way. But they're in. I've just wired them up, so I basically just did the cigarette socket down to the little box down there, little power box. Ran that up through the channel here, and then just zip tied it up. Got this one wired up on the same circuit as this one, and then you can obviously just press your button. So that's just on a low setting, same as that one. And then if you want to move the fan around, which you don't really need to, because that's directly at your face when you lay down in the tent. So each person has their own fan, whoever's in the tent, and I think that the profile of them will be low enough that when I close the tent, I shouldn't have too much of an issue with it fouling on anything. Again, the Bush Company tents are really thick, so you can leave all your, like, this is all the bedding that I leave up here all the time. I've got 4 pillows and a big blanket. Sheets and everything are always in here, so if I just pack the blankets around these, hopefully they don't break or whatever, but they should be right. If you didn't want to do that, you could obviously have a Deutsch plug to each one or a connector to each one, so you could slide the fans out if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave them in here permanently. But it's pretty cool now. Light, fans, you can swing them down to whatever way you want, spin them any direction. So if you wanted to bring, obviously you could leave it there, or you could bring it a bit closer to your head, depending on how hot it is here in bloody Australia. But I think they work great, and you've also got the timer button here as well, which light up blue depending on the time that you want on the timer's just there. So that is the install of the Bush Company Sirocco fan brackets. So jump onto the Bush Company's website, it is right there, www.thebushcompany.com, and yeah, get yourself some if you've got a Bush Company tent, or if you've got another tent and you want to add these brackets to another tent and you've got the same size RHS. Guys, jump on my website. I've just put a heap of new stuff on there at www.ftech.com.au. I've also got hoodies running out for winter, so they're $50, and I've also got new stickers on there. I've got window banner stickers, I've got big stickers for your fridge and stuff like that, or just if you want to put them inside your canopy somewhere. So I've just put a bunch of new stuff on the website, and yeah, so go check that out. But until the next mod, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See yous.